all know that rugby league players play other sports in their spare time, golfing, fishing and even show jumping. But did you know that Paul Wood does judo? The prop, who's in his 11th year at Warrington, in a season where the club are challenging for honours on all fronts, you wouldn't think he would have time for anything else. Paul, most people know you being on a rugby pitch. Why judo?
I sustained an injury. I dislocated my shoulder and I was given a rehab programme, and I went away and did it. And when I come back and made my comeback game against Catalan Dragons beginning of 2008, my first game I dislocated my shoulder again. I was devastated. I thought I'd done everything I could to rehabilitate the shoulder, but it just wasn't strong enough when I come back, and I realised that I needed to do something extra. So from there I started getting back into martial arts. It's just something I've always really been keen on when I was younger. And one pre-season I just went down and tried it and just fell in love with it.
Would you say martial arts then is a good way to prepare for those rugby tackles out on the field?
No, not really. It's a different kind of contact. But what I was using it for was, you know, you get your arms bent a lot and your arms are outstretched and in vulnerable positions, and it's a bit similar to rugby. So that's why I was using judo and wrestling, just to make sure that my shoulder was, you know, prepared to stand up to that type of pressure. So when you're on a rugby pitch, you're paid to be out on the field. Does it worry you that you're doing another contact sport? You know, you don't get worried. Obviously, the accidents can happen. I've seen people get injured. Well, I injured someone on one of my first sessions in judo. We stood at one side of the mat and they put a yellow belt on the floor halfway. So I was stood at one end of the mat and this guy, Steve, was stood at the other. And the first person to grab the yellow belt had to take it back to their side. And he grabbed it first and he ran at me, and it was basically a rugby drill. It wasn't really a judo drill. And as he ran at me, I tackled him and he broke his leg. And I was devastated. And it was a black belt at judo, and I thought, 6 weeks when he comes back, he's gonna really kick my bum. But it was
good way to start, though.
Yeah, but it was really, it was, you know, he said accidents happen, but that's the only injury I'd really seen at judo in my first session. I got a bit worried after that, but. Other than that, you don't really worry too much. You've been at Warrington for over 10 years now. Are you a different person that walked out onto the pitch 10 years ago? When I first arrived at the club, you know, I was 18 years of age, probably had a big ego, and at that age I think a lot of 18-year-olds, and I see it now with the young kids coming through. When I come into a first team environment, there was players like Alfie Langer, Tuernico, Andrew G, Mark Hilton. And if you have an attitude problem or an ego, it soon gets taken out of you, and you just learn. I learned to respect people a lot more now, and treat people how you wish to be treated, I suppose, in a way. And but I think that's just a lot of teenagers learn that growing up, not just in rugby league. So yeah, definitely a different person. Talking about the youngsters coming through the ranks, what advice would you have for them? Even when you're working hard, you don't get the things that you want. You know, there's times where you feel you probably should be picked in a team and you're not picked. You know, times where you think you maybe should be starting as a player and you're added to the bench. But you've just got to keep working hard, never give up, because you know, I had a lot of people doubting me from a young age, really, because of the position that I played. I was always one of the smallest forwards on the field, but I had to work really hard to build my strength up, to, you know, work on my ball handling skills, and just really kept working hard. And I'm 29 now, and I'm still working just as hard as I was when I was 18. So I think, you know, it's an old saying, but like, the hard work does pay off. Well, as for any professional sportsman, there's highs and lows in the career. Psychologically and mentally, you seem very focused, but how do you deal with the highs and the lows? It's difficult. You've got to have a strong family behind you. You know, your family play a big part in that when you deliver a major blow. I think probably one of the most disappointing things for me I've had to deal with in my career was in 2009 when Warrington got to Wembley. First time in 32 years, and I sustained a broken leg and meant that I missed the first Challenge Cup final, and I was devastated. I kept visualising me on the podium, like lifting the cup. And I worked so hard to try and get there the year after. How important is family to you, being able to be successful in rugby league? I've never really used family as a drive as such. They've always kept me on the straight and narrow, really. and played a big part in where I am today. But when you have kids, you sort of use them as your motivation. Well, I do anyway. So I've got 2 kids now, and you know, I want them to be proud of their dad, and you know, I want them to be able to hopefully tell their kids, you know, oh, played at Wembley, lifted the Challenge Cup, and hopefully they can say, you know, he won the league or whatever's going to come in the future.
For you, what lessons has rugby league taught you?
Everything comes at a price, and you only get what you put in. You know, I've had so many setbacks from started playing when I was 11 years of age, and even then I had setbacks. People saying that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't big enough for the position that I played. You've got to turn that into a positive. Even at 11 years of age, I wanted to prove people wrong. It's been a tough journey, but I think one of the main lessons I've learned is discipline and hard work, and that's what you need. You need a level of skill as well, but I don't think at the minute, I don't think it's one of the main attributes. I think that you can help people with skill, but you can't sort of coach them. You know, that determination and that work ethic sort of comes within, and if they've got the two main ingredients, then you can learn on the skills. So for me, that's a massive part of not just rugby league, but I think just in life in general.
Well, for you this season, how has it been for you compared to previous ones?
I'm getting a bit more game time this year. I've had a couple of injuries, so you know, with Adrian Morley missing out with an injury, meaning that, you know, I'm playing like 60-70 minutes in the games, and I'm not complaining. It's something that I've been asking for. I wanted more game time off Tony, and he's finally giving it me now. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's going so far. But I'm enjoying it, and that's the main thing. I think if you're enjoying it, then you're going to get the best out yourself.
You started off slow at scoring at the start of the season. You've had your fair share recently. What would you put that down to?
I don't want to make an habit of scoring tries because it gives props a bad name, I think. So I'm getting a bit of stick off a few of the lads, but yeah, no, it's just my teammates around me. I've got like people like Michael Monaghan running from dummy half. You know, Chris Bridges even slotted into the forwards, and you know, creating a lot of open space for us, and you know, it's running off Richie Marler and Lee Breers. You know, the good halfbacks, and they're going to put you through walls. So if you're running the right lines, and something I've been trying to work on this season, then you know, you're going to go over for the odd try every so often. So yeah, not doing too bad, getting over the whitewash at the minute.
You dedicated a recent try at Saints to Paul Derbyshire. Was he a significant person throughout your career?
Yeah, without Paul, I wouldn't be sat here today really, and not only did he sign me at the club, but he sort of turned me from a boy to a man in a way. You know, he taught me a lot of lessons, and he was the one that you know, instilled the work ethic really, because he was such an hard worker, and he put a lot of time and effort into the young lads, and you know, it's paid off with us. Yeah, he's a great man to know, and I owe him a lot really.
Injuries have played a part in your career. Would you ever quit through an injury?
I would never quit through an injury. You do think different, I think, when you've got kids. You put your health first, but I've seen so many players play on with injuries, and you know, I don't think sometimes the fans realise what players put the bodies through. They play with painkilling injections. You know, people's shoulders are hanging, you know, more or less coming out the socket before they take to a field, and they're putting injuries off and operations off, you know, maybe 3-4 months so they can finish the season. But no, I don't think I'd quit with an injury. I've dislocated my shoulder like 3 times, and I've always come back, and I'm probably stronger now than I have been before I did it, so you can always get yourself back fit. Yeah, it's just it's more of a mental block, I think. When you get injured, it takes time to get a bit of confidence. But that's why I went into the judo. I needed the confidence, and you know, it's just a bit of dedication and hard work.
What does the future hold for you?
Well, at the minute, obviously I'm still playing rugby. I'm contracted for the rest of this season. Then I've got another 2 years at Warrington. So yeah, I'm concentrating fully on my rugby for the next couple of years. Myself and Mickey Iam just set a personal training business up as well. So we're going down the avenue of, you know, when we finish, then You know, we've hopefully got a small business to look back on and to help us out. It's pretty tough. I've seen a lot of players finish rugby and the career ends and they still don't know what they're going to do. So we're forward planning. That's a lot of good stuff really what Warrington are helping us with. They don't just you know, leave you to it. They sort of put in courses in place for us now, and they put in we have little seminars with we had like an accountant in the other week which is going to help young lads hopefully with the wages. So yeah, setting something up for the future I think is massively important. So yeah, company's called Try Fitness Training, so if anyone's interested look us up on Google.